Let's figure out why it's not starting. First, I came in and found out, or took a look at the ignition wire. Made sure that it does get 12 volts when the key on, and then once you start cranking it, it also gets 12 volts. So that's correct. Then I had purchased oh boy, no idea what I did with it. A check engine light. Hang on. Okay, I found it. This is a nifty little LED check engine light, which worked when I tried it. It lit up and you put 12 volts to it. But then I mounted it in the dash, and when I started trying to crank this thing, it stopped working. So I replaced it temporarily with that bulb. Check engine light works. Keys on. So started chasing problems. First I figured it was fuel issue. I didn't have that gauge on there to begin with. So I loosened it, got an eye full of gas. So there's gas in it. It had pressure because it met my face at a high velocity. So then I figured, well, maybe it's not getting spark. So I have this old school spark check. One end goes on the spark plug, the other one goes on the coil. Turn the key, if it lights up, you got spark. So one had a very weak spark, two didn't have any spark at all. So I said, oh, it must be the ancient stock original coil packs. Let me go to AutoZone, O'Reilly's, somewhere, find some new coil packs. I'll put them all on. It'll fire right up, right? It was O'Reilly didn't have any. They had one. AutoZone wound up having a whole pack, which was not cheap, I must say. But now it's all new coils. So I thought, I should just start right up now. And I tested I cranked it, still wouldn't start. So I put the tester back on there, tested 2 or 3 of the coils, getting a pretty good spark, and yet nothing. So I looked at it, and I looked at it, and I looked at it, and I thought, well, maybe it's not getting enough fuel pressure. So I put that gauge on there to see how much fuel pressure I'm getting from the pump, and it's about 55, which should be good enough. So, oh, and in the meantime, that's MAF sensor back there, the rubber grommet, fell into the intake. So I had to pull the whole intake off. Wasn't in the intake. I found it down inside the cathedral port, sitting on the sitting on one of the intake valves. So I was able to get that back out of there before anything else happened. Put it all back together. Worked with the fuses, thought maybe the fuses, thought the relays. Couldn't figure it out. Didn't think it was fuel issue, but I said, well, hey, I've got some starting fluid somewhere. Got loose things everywhere in this garage. So I got starting fluid. I said, let me try that. I opened up the throttle, sprayed some in there, and it kicked off. And that was late last night, so I turned it off within a half a second, and I didn't get to see if it built oil pressure or not. So that's where I'm at now. I'm gonna do this again and see if it fires again. Then I'll have to take the injectors, and those are the original injectors from that engine. So I cleaned them, but I didn't like put a battery to them and open up make sure they opened up and sprayed stuff, cleaner through them. Basically, I just scrubbed them. Thought they would work. So now I'm just going to probably pull them out, make sure they work, and try to clean them as best I can. If they're not working, I'll have to replace them, but those are not cheap either. So let me continue on here. All right, so let's try this again. Very good taste. So it will run. Time to clean the injectors. So I tested all the injectors, the 9-volt battery, they all clicked. I ran carb cleaner through them. They were all spitting carb cleaner out. So I don't know if this thing's gonna run or not now. This seems like the injectors are okay. So let's try it again. I don't get it. I have to get a noise. Oh wait, I got a coil pack unplugged. I'm sure that won't cause any difference, but let's see. I don't know what the huge backfire was. It's still not starting. I'm going to have to contact PSI, see if they can point me in the right direction here. So as you can see here, the injectors are out of the ports. Should have been spraying, and they are not. So now it's a matter of figuring out why the injectors are not spraying.